Hey guys, this is Elliott with True Fitness and Nutrition. Today we're going to do a stiff-legged deadlift, sometimes abbreviated as an SLDL. This is a posterior chain exercise. It's going to work your back as well as your glutes and hamstrings that you would use to build your conventional pull or even just your deadlift in general. So what you're going to do is you're going to set up with a bar over the middle of your foot, hands go outside your legs, and so instead of letting the knees drop down towards the bar and raising the chest like you would do with a conventional deadlift, you're going to push your knees away from the bar. So what that does is it's going to create a whole ton of tension in your hamstrings and even in your glutes a little bit. But in order to be able to feel that tension, you have to have a flat back position. As soon as you round your back position, you're going to create some slack through the hamstrings, which just defeats the purpose of the exercise. So with that flat back, you push the knees away from the bar, and then that's where your pull is going to come from. So notice that the bar should stay about over that midfoot the entire time while you're pushing your knees back away from the bar. So a couple of points to mention there. One is it's called a stiff-legged deadlift, but that does not mean that your legs are all the way stiff the entire time. You're going to need as much bend in your knee as you can manage with your flat back position and the bar over the middle of your foot. So don't think stiff-legged deadlift means jamming your knees all the way into a locked out position. Think that means as straight as possible with your legs, given a flat back position and the bar over the middle of the foot. This is also very similar to another exercise called an RDL, a Romanian deadlift. So a Romanian deadlift starts from the top, so from here you'll push the hips back until you reach that position where you can't lower anymore by pushing your hips backwards, and then you stand up at the top. So the difference between the RDL and the stiff-legged deadlift starts from the bottom versus starting from the top with an RDL, and the stiff-legged deadlift, bend your knees as much as is needed in order to be able to get all the way back down to the ground, maintaining your flat back position and maintaining a whole ton of tension in the posterior chain. So it's a minute difference versus the conventional deadlift. You don't have quads off the ground before your posterior chain finishes the lift. You're trying to bias the posterior chain. So you should be able to lift less weight with the SLDL than you can with your conventional deadlift. If those loads are the same, probably not doing it right. And if you're feeling a whole ton of tension in your hamstrings and glutes, probably a good sign. Keep doing what you're doing.